In 2013, Anderson and Gravedigger the Legend would be invited to compete in Monster Jam World Finals 14, where they would win the World Racing Championship, defeating Mark McDonald and El Toro Loco Black. The truck would receive a new chassis the following year, and both it and Anderson would go on to defeat their World Racing Championship defend by winning at Monster Jam World Finals 15, defeating Tom Mintz and Max D. 2015 marked the final year of Gravedigger the Legend in competition, as Anderson announced that he would be joining the Gravedigger team later that year. Jesus. Adam's crew chief Cole Vennard would drive the truck in Orlando by the end of the season, and the chassis would be refurbished, converted, and renumbered as Gravedigger 28. I am not sure. Gravedigger the Legend would retire afterwards. It was Gravedigger 12. Gravedigger 12 was originally constructed in 1996 and began competition the following year, with Dennis Anderson behind the wheel. At the time of its construction, the truck served as Anderson's primarily truck. 2 years later, Anderson and the truck would win the 1999 USHRA Points Championship. Around the start of 1999 season, Anderson would suffer a back injury following a crash in New Orleans during Freestyle. My weekend couldn't end up being worse. While he competed in the season, he would end up taking time off afterwards to recover from the injury. Todd Frolick would drive Gravedigger 12 in his place until late February 2000, when Norm Miller would take over as the driver in his place. During this time, slight changes would be made to the truck, including a new body mold and the fuel cell being moved to the rear of the truck. Sky Hardley drove the truck in Bogor, Maine. Anderson would eventually return to drive Gravedigger 12 in the late 2000s. For the start of the 2001 season, as Gravedigger 14 was still under construction. After Anderson transited into Gravedigger 14 in 2001, Gary Porter took over the driving duties of number 12 until its retirement at the end of 2010. And its last show would be under Porter while held in Wildwood, New Jersey. He would later move to Gravedigger 25 the following year. However, Gravedigger 20, Gravedigger 12 would then converted into a second Gravedigger the Legend for the 2011 season with Tony Farrell driving. After Farrell retired at the end of the first quarter, Gravedigger 12 was finally retired from competition. The current whereabouts of the chassis is unclear, with it most likely being scrapped.